Arab wisdom says, "The greatest poverty is ignorance, the greatest wealth is wisdom, the greatest inheritance is upbringing." But all of these are just words that cannot be measured and weighed to determine whether you have everything you need for life or if you stand at the end of the line. It is easier to possess something material, something tangible. If you have more stones, apartments, or shares than others, then life is considered successful. And in our day, who will be surprised by your upbringing? Instead, you might amuse with good manners. Pomp and arrogance dominate us, and the years go by. And it turns out that everything inside you is indestructible. Everything you possess is transient. Nothing of yours exists externally. Everything crumbles, breaks, and withers. You want to hold on, to preserve, and you can't. Everything disappears into the void. Time, health, hopes, people. Only memories remain, and even those not always. An ocean made of drops is great. A continent is composed of grains of sand. Your coming and going is insignificant. Just a fly flew in through the window for a moment. Omar Khayyam. And even with such a light attitude towards life, realizing its incredible transience, Arabs value wisdom and knowledge, carefully preserving the sayings of their ancestors to pass them on to their grandchildren. We will talk about them. On profits and losses, the loss that teaches is a gain. Life is an excellent teacher, but it charges a high price for its lessons. You need to learn to treat financial losses as the cost of experience, then your relationship with yourself will be different. The Chinese say, if you have no troubles in your life, then buy them at a high price. Why? To gain experience in overcoming them. One day, life will put you to the test and ask, what then? Although in my opinion this Chinese phrase has a double meaning. As soon as you get your hands on a large amount of money, you will inevitably attract troubles. Which option is closer to you? Write in the comments. Frugality is the best wealth. This Eastern wisdom needs to be internalized by those who believe that wealth comes solely from high earnings and unearned income. It's better to be silent than to speak. Silence is the adornment of the wise and the mask of the foolish. On identifying the enemy. 1,000 enemies outside the house are better than one inside. Nothing destroys a person from within like conflicts with loved ones, or the guilt they impose, or perhaps shame. We don't care about outsiders, but the people close to us shape our mood, self-esteem, and self-perception. Authoritarian parents, a quarrelsome wife, a despotic son, they're not crosses to bear with dignity, but problems to be solved urgently. Because patience is a fine quality, but life is too short to endure for long. On friendship, you should not visit your friend too often lest they become tired of you and grow to hate you. On the harm of solitude, just as branches and fruit adorn a tree and a dense forest adorns a mountain, so a man is adorned by his children and his wife. A man without brothers, a wife or sons is insignificant in the eyes of his enemies. He's like a tree growing at a crossroads. Every passerby plucks its fruit and all the wild animals eat it. I shared this saying with a friend. He's 40 years old, married with 2 children. My friend started to argue with me. He says that a man with obligations is an incredibly vulnerable person. His employer makes a puppet out of him. His family sits on his back and women don't see a man in him. He's a big fruit that everyone is squeezing juice out of. But a person is only useful when he can give something, not just selfishly enjoy his freedom, spending money in clubs and resorts. A person is a social being. He cannot live alone. He will inevitably attract, like a magnet, friends, companions, conversation partners, and women. And he'll spend his time, energy, and resources on them. How to avoid old age. Life is a challenging science. A person lives as long as he learns about life. When he stops learning, he stops living and turns into a stone on the road, hindering others.